Today we're doing coaching with a $500,000 landscaping business called Edwards Lawn Care. And the owner unfortunately left the state and abandoned the business. You're running away from the business. And the crew is starting to suffer from this poor leadership.
I'm so indecisive about everything in my life.
This is an extended version of the entire turnaround that you can view on my main channel, Mike Andes. When it comes to all the systems and things you want to do in the business, the initiatives, right? You simply have to prioritize them. Right? And right now, if the goal is, I want to do a $500,000 business and take 100 grand to the bank every single year, if that's the goal, it is better leadership and you taking over the admin. And it would be a matter of every single morning you're at the shop, getting the crew ready to roll. You're gonna cut massive inefficiencies out because people showing up late. I know someone showed up late 20 minutes this morning. You know, they know what they're getting in terms of product and equipment for the day. There's not inefficiencies of driving back to the shop. They know their route, they're on pace, they're on schedule. You're the leader, let's go.
Yeah.
You have a laptop inside of your truck and you're gonna literally leave from the morning. You're gonna do sales, you're gonna do estimates, you're gonna be able to do the estimates. You don't need to do this whole back and forth double entry into a spreadsheet because you know the numbers, you're gonna put them in. You're gonna send the estimate to the customer way faster.
Yeah.
The invoices will actually go out. And I think you'll do all of what she's doing right now in a whole day in an hour and a half.
I really feel that. I mean, when do I hire someone back on though? Because
when you actually have a system to give them to like do your job.
So
right now,
let her go.
I just think that she's working an hour and a half a day.
I know. I really know this. I mean, I have a text message. We've gotten into it a couple times. I mean, not like over text message. And like one thing she said the other day is she's like, I don't think you realize I'm only one person. I'm doing the invoicing, the calls, the emails, Facebook. I'm like, I used to do all of that and work.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing.
Stressful.
At 500,000, you probably need almost someone full time.
Yeah.
I think you're doing most of the work, and then she's just like checking the boxes.
She does a lot. She does do a lot of things, but it's like I have to oversee everything.
You're doing it vicariously. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is if you just did the work and then create a system for it, because you don't actually know how a lot of these things are working. Because you've been like so hands off for so long. You almost need to get back into the business, understand how things work so that you can create systems.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're Monday morning quarterbacking everything from the sidelines.
Yeah.
Like you got to get off the sidelines, back into the game, play quarterback a bit to understand your team, how this game works, so that then you can go make the play calling.
Yeah.
Then you can be like, okay, I know the strengths and the weaknesses. I know how this operationally works. I can create systems around checking email and what folders I need to be putting those in, how to do it fastest, how to block out. Like you do one filter, for example, have a filter inside do you have Gmail?
Yeah.
Yeah. Should have a filter for Gmail for any email that has the word unsubscribe, 80% of your email is gone.
Sorry.
Set a filter for any email that has the word unsubscribe, gets sent to your archive. It's all spam. Like I just saw your email.
Oh, it's terrible.
80 to 90% of that is just spam.
Yeah.
Just get rid of all of that with one filter.
Okay, I need to learn how to do that.
Like, right? It's literally a filter. Any email that has the word unsubscribe, just put it to my archive.
It's a lot of little things like that I just haven't learned yet.
But you won't be able to learn them until you're in the game.
Yeah.
Right? You're just like, you're delegating by abdication, which is like, I don't see it. The admin's taken care of. Then the crew shows up in the morning and I just hope they kind of get going and like, until something breaks, like I hope everything goes well.
Yeah.
Right? And so delegation by abdication like that is like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And the crew doesn't know, they are so disconnected from like the business, from you, why the business exists. Like you're gonna always have churn. The fact that you have one guy that's been your unicorn is the reason this business exists.
Yeah.
Because without that, you would be forced to be over there and be playing quarterback.
Yeah. I knew this, I definitely knew this was coming, and it's like, I need to be in there. It's just like, it seems like every time I try and get something started or fixed, like I'm just so indecisive. I don't want to mess up again. I feel like I've just been...
When did you mess up last?
Well, really leaving. But it's like when the guys like left me, or it's just like, sometimes like I said, I just feel like I'm like micromanaging them too much. And like for instance, I have a point system I just like created and I want to implement, but I'm scared they'll all I'll have to hire all new guys, you know?
Well, you probably would at this point because they would take whatever sort of like.
Tracy's really good at it.
Yeah.
Which one was late today?
I don't know, the guy with the loops?
Oh, that's Levi. He's really came a long ways.
Which is all fine, like, but like,
Yeah.
I don't blame the guys because without the leader there,
Yeah.
that's what they're going to do. They're going to take the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
That's just human nature. I don't blame a crew person anytime. It's always leadership's fault.
Yeah.
Right? Any problem in my business is ultimately my fault.
Good or bad, yeah.
And so, but they need a leader.
Yeah.
And without Tracy, like the business is nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's just a matter of like, we have to, number one, that is the, like, we can talk about point systems, we can talk about systems, we can talk about all the things on this whiteboard, but ultimately it's a bottom line of we have a bottleneck that if one person left this company, you'd probably have to cut it in half or be in the field every single day, 8 hours a day. As a business grows past $500,000, it's important to have strong leadership. It's also important to have accountability at every single level of the organization, including frontline team members that are on the customer's property. Let's see if we can create some structure and compensation systems to make sure this happens. Do they want to be out of salary or do they like salary?
So I think they didn't like the idea of going to it, but my thought on it was, it's like I can control like how many hours there are for them.
Right.
And then they liked, I told them we're going to have a meeting at the end of the year with my accountant and like we're going to compare, you know, the hours that you've worked and I'm going to make everything all right. And like Levi especially, he's like, I just don't believe like you're going to pay all that. I'm like, I promise you something, I'm going to do it. So like I made up for all that pay. And then like I keep saying we're going to go to P for P. You should make the same amount of money with the way you guys work, you know, $20 to $30 an hour. Just I haven't got to that point yet, and here we are, another season, and I haven't gotten the things done I want done. I mean, I have done a lot in the past 10 months, but there's, I don't know. It's from the outside looking in, it's like the guy's probably just screwing off, but it's like. I mean, there's a lot of things to do in a business, especially once you get to this size and like, you know, this admin position. I just feel like I've been trying to figure that out for so long, and the further that we go, I just feel like I'm doing more and more of her work, and like, I've been biting my nails waiting for this, but like I've been up late night just thinking, like, I'm probably gonna have to take that position over eventually. I think it's the answer. But then
how many estimates are you usually doing a day? Like from a sales perspective?
Right now I just started the monthly letter thing.
Yeah.
And that's been awesome.
Yeah.
I would on average 3 to 5.
Okay.
I mean every day is different.
Yeah. So let's pull up estimates for like say this past week on or is it in here? Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes I like if it's a lot of these are smaller jobs.
Right.
This is why I've been so attracted like to what you do. It's simple services. Not every one I make a invoice for. Like if it's, or I mean estimate. Yeah, and that's because like if it's hourly, you know, and I just tell them, you know, I can't. It's really hard to price this work out.
Yeah.
I don't know how other guys do it. I'd love to learn a better way. So this is one she has measured out.
Okay. For mowing.
For mowing.
Okay.
We don't have to go there. We just measure.
Yep.
See, but she doesn't have a property, so that's fine. So I mean, grass cutting 120.
Yep.
I mean, it should say in the notes, you know, this is your price. We cut 20. Like I have a whole spiel every time I talk with someone. I say, hey, we cut 27 to 30 times.
So in your product and service, can't you create like a description that's standard? So instead of putting like leaf removal, $150 or by the hour, or like grass cutting, $120, is there any way to give more description of what that job actually entails? Like when you put job notes there, why is that not going on the estimate? Like just giving more details and clarity of what the job actually includes for the customer.
Yeah, I guess, we could be doing that.
Because if you think of it from the customer's point of view, if you get 2 estimates, one of them says, hey, you're gonna property cleanup for $2,000. And the other one has property cleanup, and it lists out the 8 different things they're going to get on their property that's included in that property cleanup, I promise you they will value that so much higher.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And so otherwise, and if you're 5-6 weeks booked out, you're not going to remember what property cleanup means in 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So guess what you're going to do? You're going to be on the bottleneck because the crew's going to have to ask you every question.
For sure. This is, so like whenever I have, this is at the bottom of estimates, like grass cutting, what it is, what it entails. And when I send out an estimate, like this is our terms of service. I don't know if that's necessary to be on there, but... But
you expect the customer to see the estimate and then scroll to the very bottom and see the grass cutting terms of service? Because like on here...
Yeah.
So why is this not like on the estimate?
This is on the estimate.
So what does the estimate look like? Sorry, I just not super familiar.
Oh, no, you're fine. I could print it out so you can see it.
If you just yeah.
You want me to scroll down?
Can you like see what the customer sees? Like if they click on like the link to this or whatever, what do they see? They see, if you click print, do they see kind of like a PDF version of this? Yeah. Like this. Yeah, perfect. Okay, scroll down. Scroll. Okay, so there, it's like page 4 to see what grass cutting means. But yet what they're doing is they're looking at this one thing at the top, which is grass cutting.
Yeah.
Right? So I would recommend have the description of whatever this item and service is right here.
So whenever I do it here, it just drives me nuts. I'm trying to get everything set up so I can pull a report on everything. So I'll tip, like when I'm making the invoices, like especially on like, we call it side work, anything that's not mowing, I'll put notes down here. There's little things like this that I'll tell Holly and it's just forgotten.
But why would you not put it in the estimate? Why would you put it in notes or terms and conditions or like the 4th page of the estimate?
I don't know. That's just like something that's hasn't been fixed or I haven't worked on.
Because like this is, I'm assuming, is only here because there's mowing on the estimate.
Yeah.
So she adds these based on what's in the estimate. Like, so if there was no mowing, this would not show up.
Yeah, I don't believe that would show up if there's I think it's triggered whenever you click grass cutting.
Okay. Yeah, like
we can
if you can format it basically in a way that like, hey, when I put grass cutting, I see what that includes. And ideally, instead of having to scroll down to page 4, it says perimeters in the spots and what is, hard surfaces will be cleaned and the weekly service will continue season until canceled. Because I guarantee you the vast majority of your customers are not seeing this. I'd say like 50, 60, 70% do not see this.
Yeah.
They just see grass cutting, 120, and then accept it or reject the quote.
It drives me crazy. I feel like, I'm like, should I be working from home? Like, I want an office space so bad. And it just stresses me out. That lease I don't know if you've seen it, is for sale.
Sale, yeah.
And that price is going down so much. I want to buy it, but I've kind of messed up my money. 20% down. Yeah. Like that's why I've been trying. That's why I initially hired this other coach. Was like because I'm not confident in going and buying another place and like doing it all right. Like his goal was to get me to pull in more revenue so I can put a down payment on a place. And there's a lot of other costs we need.
How much do they want for that place?
That place right now $267.
Got it.
It's not bad.
No.
But I can't burn there. And that 20% down on that would be $50,000. I've got 80. Right?
Would he do a lease to own?
I've tried.
Okay.
So many times. Like, just think about owner financing. Like it's been for sale forever. You haven't. You haven't sold it.
Could you lowball him for like 200?
Maybe. I doubt he'd take it. He's came down from 300 to 267.
So he'll
take 400 with both those buildings.
Oh, he'll take 200.
Maybe.
Yeah. Have you looked into financing at all?
Not commercially.
Just go ask a banker.
I could.
Say, hey, if I just for $200,000, what could I get down on this?
But
you could potentially
20% down, right?
Well, you could also get an SBA 504, which is way less than that. So
SBA 504.
Yeah. Hey, we're adding to the wall of text.
I know. There's so much there.
So 504 loan is going to be basically for real estate, for your small business. And so with your current balance sheet and profit and loss statement, I think you could get a loan for a 504. Mm-hmm. On 200,000, your mortgage isn't going to be a whole lot more than your rent.
Yeah. So, and that's what I'm trying to think. It's like, should I have? It's like that's okay. How much do you have to put anything down?
Usually 10%.
10%.
Usually, it just depends.
That's better than 20.
Yeah. And then the SBA loans are only really made for if you can't get conventional financing. Like that's why the SBA exists, and they're going to be better rates than conventional, etc.
So I'm pre-qualified right now for $450
for a regular house. Yeah, a regular house.
I've been trying to find the perfect location where it's close
to a shop space and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, so there's not downtime, and I just dream of having a rental portfolio. Yeah. That's what I want. I want property. I mean, you have property. That's been my dream forever, and it just I haven't made it happen. Mm-hmm. I want to rent this place out. That's why I fixed it up, and I did it, cheap as I could. And I want my thought was with everything like what I dream of happening is making enough money with this business where I'm happy and proud of it, and where it allows me to invest into rental property. Right. And that's why I have that FHA loan ready to go. Now I don't. They were going. Some of that was based off of how much money I had in the account, and now I have half of that, or less than that.
But hey, an FHA loan, if you can get something for say $300,000, has a house and a shop on it, is going to be better.
That's the dream. Yeah, I found the perfect location. I called it the unicorn. Mm-hmm. It was 5 acres. The shop was 40 by 100. It was a nice home that rent out easily. It's right outside of Springfield where everyone wants to live. Mm-hmm. And I got outbid by $10,000. Mm-hmm. And then it's just like my agent keeps sending me things, but it's just like I want to wait to talk to you to see what you think about that whole situation and how far away I can justify being. Like the further you go out of Springfield, you can find so much stuff that's so much cheaper. Yeah. But it's the drive time, the window time. I think I calculated it for just 30 minutes for 4 guys. Yeah. It's like $7,000 a year. Yeah. And it's just like I get hung up on so many things like that. Yeah. Like I think I'm a perfectionist to a sense. And I watched another turnaround, and you said that about someone else. That's me.
Well, like you're trying to figure out every single detail of the business, mm-hmm. and it's preventing you from taking action on the things that are actually going to move the needle on all of them. Yeah. Right?
Analysis paralysis.
And that's where it's like, there's like 3 things we need to focus on. 1 is you getting back in daily operations and being a manager. Mm-hmm. Not an architect and some massive CEO running up from afar, virtually. It's like, I'm a manager. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to get them to make this thing more efficient. Because that's what a manager does, is they create systems, they create procedures. But you can't do that remotely, never seeing your crew. They're haphazardly running the business. Your admin doesn't have any structure. You can't do that. Number 1, getting back into the business, right? Number 2 is we have to focus on the long-term objective of getting security on a personal level, and that is getting a relationship that you can be proud of, that you feel like when you go to work, you're trying to build something for.
I feel like it would take I feel like sometimes I'm just like, it's going to take away from my growth, but it'd probably be good for me. Like these holes would be filled.
100%.
It's just like
all these doubts and the lack of confidence started when the last relationship ended. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now you know what not to do to not mess up the next one. Yeah. Right? You're going to have the structure.
Overworking, that's what it is, and not having systems.
So that's why that's why number 1 is jump back into the business. Mm-hmm. Because then when you get number 2, you'll be ready for it. Yeah. Right? The business will be more profitable. There'll be systems in place. You'll have structure. Like I work from 8, I get off at 6, and I'm all yours. Yeah. I'm not working on Sundays. Like I'm going to be focused on you. Mm-hmm. Right? And then that's why number 2 will come along. Yeah. Like don't just focus on that. All this other stuff is minutia. Like you can only focus on 1 or 2 things. You only need to focus on 1 or 2 things. Like that's why I just said 2 things. Yeah. We didn't talk about software. We didn't talk about any of this stuff.
So let go of, P for P for now.
Don't worry about it. No, forget it.
I keep paying for it because I'm like, I'll get it figured out, but now spring's here and I'm scared this.
Just focus on these two things. If you did those two things in the next 12 months, like everything else, you have the confidence to pull the trigger on P for P. You have the confidence to stop doing the putting them on salary. You'd have the confidence to you would have made the extra $10,000 on the unicorn property. You would have had the confidence to do all of these things.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, I don't care about all this stuff. There's always 100 things to fix in any business, including my own. There's a gazillion issues.
Yeah.
1 or 2 of them is the only things I should focus on. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. And so identifying that is the hardest part in business. Because otherwise you will go 100 different directions and get nothing accomplished.
Yeah.
So it is number 1. Get into the business and be a great manager. Yep. Be there every single morning. Make sure you know what everyone's going through. Understand what they're thinking all the time. Be able to give them their point of contact. Have this set up in the shop. Know that you can be there and be productive. So if you're waiting for them at the end of the day, you can still get stuff done.
Yeah.
Admin, completely, you can do that yourself. Mm-hmm. I think in an hour a day, and it'll be done better, and the business will grow just by you being in the weeds with them a little bit more.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, hey, figure it out, crossing your fingers, closing your eyes, and hoping it works out. Mm-hmm. You'll figure out there's repetitive processes like having Excel spreadsheets when everything can be done in one system.
Yeah.
That'll fix so many problems. Mm-hmm. You'll create a business that in 12 months is more profitable, runs more efficiently, and has systems in place.
Yeah.
And I don't need to even give you the blocking and tackling of the systems. You know which ones. You've already said all the systems you need to do. Mm-hmm. Cutting out people that are far away, reducing drive time, implementing pay for performance. You already know what to do. You just don't have the confidence to pull the trigger on any of these things.
Yeah.
So do that. And then number 2 is we've got to figure out the relationship. And I know it's funny and no one wants to say it because it's soft skills, but that is the fundamental issue in terms of what I see. Mm-hmm. And it'd be different if you would never have had a relationship because you wouldn't know what that was like. Yeah. To have someone that you go to battle for every single day and you care about and you're building a future for. Mm-hmm. And once you lose that though, it's like you're wandering in the wilderness.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
And that's why you go to California and figure out, should I move someplace else? Should I do a different business? Should I just do real estate? All of that stuff is simply a matter of not having direction.
Yeah.
If you're just given the key, the unlock to that next stage of growth, like we talked about today with Edwards Lawn Care, it can absolutely happen for your business. If you're tired of bumping up against a revenue marker, tired of bumping up where you can't get out of the field, or you can't start working on your business, book your tickets today for yourself, your spouse, and your manager at bluecollarsummit.com.